There we go. That should work pretty well. I got the bottom, and you can see I was kind of worried for nothing. I mean, I remember I spent like a lot of time just planning this out. That's the reason, in fact, that I made this test piece. So the reason for that was to make sure I could get the layout right. In fact, you'll notice that I messed up the layout on one side because I was trying to make it symmetrical, and I realized I didn't need it symmetrical. I need both players to have the same setup, which means joystick on the left, buttons on the right, etc. So that's good. That's all I'm going to do for now. Buttons wise, I do want to check on this other joystick, make sure that that doesn't get in the way of this guy. Is that in focus? It's hard to tell. Make that brighter. There we go. That's not in focus. There we are, more or less. I think it butts up right against that. So I might just take this one out and use that and test it. I think, yeah, let's do that. So how do I fix that? And that's no good. I could tilt it. I suppose I could tilt it. And that's not going to run into anything really, but still. Yeah, I think I'm going to just have to... No, I can't tilt it. Because then it's going to be all weird. Shit. Alright, yeah, I got to cut it. Damn it. Alright. So, the one thing that I actually had not put in my panel over there was the one thing that became a problem. This is why you always test fit things. And the rest of this has to go, I guess, all the way in. How the hell do I do that? I don't want to take a Dremel to it. This plate comes off, right? Oh, hey, this plate comes off. I'm going to see what's under this plate, because maybe I don't need to do any of this. Well, no. Well, maybe. Let's see. Let's see what's under here. Well. Okay. Oh, that just popped right off. All right. Okay, I don't dislike that. So this now has that little bit of lip. It's about 21. Actually, that might fit exactly in here. See, I was worried about... Can you see that? And I think this is going to fit in there. It is going to fit in there perfectly. It's going to give me a perfect square, in fact. Yeah, so I can just have like a little ring at the top just to keep the vinyl flush, flat. I mean, in theory, what is this happening now? Okay, yes. We can just cut this in half. Cool. Bit of a tight fit, but that's the point. That one in there. There we are. Okay. This is putting loads of stress on the bolts on the side. I'm sure of it. All right, so now I want to kind of sneak up on this because I do want it to be a little more centered than I think it is at the moment. There's nothing poking through the top, I hope, right? Yeah, good. Don't want to squeeze this too much. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So I fixed my other panel, the bottom panel, and I figure before I put it on, I can put the wheels on. Now what I wanted to do was actually to have the wheels pretty far back, almost up against the back panel. In fact, I was going to cut a notch in the back panel so there wasn't any interference. And then I was going to have 4 legs, 2 in the back, just ahead of this, right? The back panel's here. Then this would roll up off of this and onto the wheels. So I could basically tilt it back and roll it around wherever I needed. So now I just need to lay it out. So ideally this should go as far back as possible. Problem with that, can you see that? So the problem with that is the panel comes down a ways. Fuck you. So the panel comes down a ways. I think it only comes down about there. Still, I think if this is out of the way, you know, that should be a little bit better. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It's like a couple millimeters. I would feel a little bit better. There we go. Perfect. Let's put it in. How can I do this? Well, obviously, that was a bad idea. Let's knock these guys out and out. Okey-doke. Ooh, scheiße. Okay, I need to make sure, Jesus, I need to make sure this doesn't move at all. Bonk me in the head. All right. We got one. This is the right way around, right? Am I doing something wrong? Okay, so the hole is a smidge to the left. There we go. All right, where's the screwdriver? I can get that in there. There we go. I'm gonna get this side panel on here so I can take this off the blocks. That's not even on the block anymore, is it? No, that's not important. Actually, no, that's gonna fuck me up. Better get that off of there. Actually, no, I do need this. I need this to be here. Okay, there we go. So when I do that, I'm gonna need this to be my clamp. I have to get this piece on there. I'm gonna silicone this. And then whilst it's clamped, that's a little bit tight. Hopefully these holes find each other, because yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a ball ache. Yeah, all right. Whew. Here we go. Okay, now ideally, good idea would be like a roller or something, but I don't have one. So, I don't want to use my fingers though. Will this work? Yeah, this will work. It's a little dirty, but that's fine. I basically just don't want this to squeeze into the holes. So some of this excess there, trying to spread a little more evenly between the holes. Hopefully that doesn't. All right, well, let's do this then. All right, we'll start here. 3, 4. Strip onto the bolts. Well, don't push them out. There we go. Good. Yeah. All right, this should work. And then nice. Okay. That should work. Why is this all tight? That one's not tight. Okay. Out a little bit. Why? There it is. Ha, gotcha. There we go. That is a tight box. That was not what I meant. All right, good. Okie doke. So down on one side and then down on the other. Ooh, shit. There's a lot of pressure on a sideways leg. Huh. Hey. Check that out. Oh, hey, hold on. I saw quite the gap down here. Well, there you have it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to put 2 more legs in the back. But as far as a stable piece of furniture, I'd say that's pretty good. There she is. One step closer. Now, coffee. So I ended up painting this. I don't know how strong this is, but I asked my friend to make me this piece anyway. It'll be the same color as this, so it'll be a proper continuation. But until then, I do want to see this thing mounted, so we're going to put this on. Which means, where do I put you? Why are you here? Go away. All right. Which means this will probably be temporary, but it will give a good idea of what I'm after. In fact, I think I could probably put some proper screws in here as well. That'll work. I'd say 2 is enough. Is that on there pretty tight? I'd say. You know what? I think I should have 2 more over here. Fuck. All right. Let's do that. 2 more. All right. From there to the edge is 10, so 5. There. Let's put it actually on that line. That'll do. How's that? Starting to look like an arcade, isn't it? That is fine. That's good. I should probably put the T-molding here, just to kind of see how it looks. There's a bit of a gap there, but I think that's all right. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, I'm turning the camera on because this has gone from being a test to being, I think, what I'm actually going to do. So I have this frame in aluminum, and I think I'm just going to screw it into the panels. This panel is now glued to the back panel, to the top panel. This little border, I guess you would call it. So this will come off with this panel. I can slide the marquee in there and then just put this back on top. I'm going to need to adjust my measurement for the marquee, and hopefully this border doesn't take too much off. I tested it. I mean, it is what it is, but I kind of wish, like, I'm fine with this border here. I kind of wish this were all a little bit thinner, but it's not going to be. So that's what this is at this point. The only other thing, I like how it looks. The only thing I'm worried about is that there might be too much chrome. Like I have this molding you saw on the front panel, and that's going to look like a lot of chrome. I mean, I won't know until it's up there, but one thing I might end up doing is just painting this black if it is too much. But I think this will work as just a way to keep the marquee in there. It is a pretty wide gap. I did intend to have double plating for the marquee. So the sticker is on a piece of, let me show you. It's on a piece of transparent acrylic. So the light can come through. And I think I'm gonna sandwich it on another piece. I don't remember where I set up the camera. So I think I'm gonna sandwich it with another piece, but the thickness of this one, if I just double it, is not gonna be quite enough. So you'll notice this has quite a bit of a gap once that goes in there. Yeah, see, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The only other thing I'm worried about, besides the too much chrome, is this is going to be right in front of some LED lights. They get kind of hot. I can adjust that with the Arduino programming, like the how intense they are, how bright the lights are. But I have some LED strips across the top of this wall here, and when they've been on for a while, the actual aluminum that they're on, which, by the way, while we're here, is going to be the same aluminum I'm going to put on the back of this machine. They're basically these rails that you put the LED strips in. I got to clean the front of this a little bit. I cleaned the back this morning in anticipation of doing all this hardware stuff today. So, tiny little screws, tiny screwdriver. I'm going to have to try and get this thing. Fuck. Well, I can kind of pull. God damn it. I keep. Whoa. Actually, you know what I need? I never get a chance to use it. But this little guy should do the trick. Yeah, look at that. Yay, technology. Good. Apart from the bit slipping. That looks pretty good. That's pretty straight. All right. That was me. There we go. All right. So now I got those installed. Ooh, bad. All right. I need to get the marquee cut and fit in here. Now, what I noticed is this is not straight. In whichever part of the process between getting these screws in, getting the wooden dowels in, gluing it up, there's so many different moments that this could have gone astray. It probably was way at the beginning, but what do I do? It could be, so I was playing around with the idea of putting a foam backing, like that sticky foam stuff you put in between windows, that insulation thing for drafty windows. I have some of that somewhere around here that I use for a table. It's for a glass table that I have outside. I could put it in the bottom, so it just sits in it. And if it's thick enough and I cut it right, it'll put enough pressure on it that it'll just kind of sit there and it won't vibrate. That's my main concern. It'll stay wherever I put it. Or, I mean, no, those are my options. Or I get a piece of acrylic that's exactly the thickness that's missing, and it's just friction fit in the whole thing. Regardless, the dimensions have to be cut the same, which means I need to take this dimension minus the thickness of both of these rails, which is about 1 millimeter, but I also have the screws, which aren't exactly flush. So I countersunk them, and they're little screws, but the countersink, when I countersunk, I just used a bigger drill bit because I don't have a countersink that fits in here. So bigger drill bit, but the angle is not the same angle as the screw head. So it does sit up a little bit. I think between the two, it'll probably be an extra millimeter. So 0.5 millimeter on the top and bottom, plus the 1 millimeter on each side is 3 millimeters. So whatever the dimensions, I have to shave 3 millimeters off of the long side and the short side. 0.1, let's call it 75, minus 3, that's 72. So it's going to be 72 long. I don't know. I guess I'll just do this one. That's let's call that 15.8, and let's call this 16. So 15.8 on the left side, 16 on the right side, 15.5, 15.7, 15.5, 15.7. So it's 2 millimeter difference along the length. And if I just keep that straight between it, I think the rest will kind of fit itself in. Next thing I want to do is probably put the vinyl before I mount that. All right, let's get that cut. This straight edge doesn't look terribly straight. I might have just put this on crooked. But I think this will be my straight edge, and then I'll take whatever I need from the bottom there. So that's a lot of pressure. Especially these first cuts, I want to be very, very careful, because you can kind of put enough pressure to move your straight edge. Anyone who's done this before will know that can happen. You know, this actually reminds me, when I was in college, I went to VCU, and one of the first classes there was this color theory class. It was an art school when I went there. Anyway, this color theory class, we had to cut these squares. Nope, nowhere near done yet. Can't take this off though. We had to cut these squares and paint them, and we had to do it in a way that was different swatches of colors, but when we turned it to grayscale, it had to be a linear gradation. from like white to black. So we had to use colors, but those colors had to be of such an intensity. I think intensity is the right word. Is it intensity? Or value? That turned to a grayscale, it would result as a gradation from black to white. And as we're cutting, now I was, 19 at the time? I was pretty big into knives back then, and the teacher says something to the effects of, every single year I have someone who cuts themselves. And I'm thinking, well, that's not going to be me. I grew up with knives. Everything I do is sharp. I'm going to be like the one person who can laugh at all those other fools who cut themselves. No sooner had I thought that my thumb, which was just a little over the thing, got sliced. And I started bleeding all over the place. I didn't want to let anyone know. I ran to the sink, grabbed some towels, pretended like nothing happened. I think nobody did know, but it was just embarrassing for me to happen while I'm having exactly that moment of overconfidence. Shit, that's already off. All right. That's not very deep. See, I need to be patient. I need to not do that. I need to be patient. All right, let me keep going at this, and I'll slowly get it cut to size. You don't need to see the rest of this mess. Okay, so that was a little easier. I went with a bigger blade and came in from both sides, front and back, and that did it. This is kind of sharp. I want to get it test fitted to make sure, well, that it fits. And then, if it is the right size, I can put up the, what are they called? These guys. First, let's get rid of this. Ooh, boy, that came right off. All right. And so do you. Good. I mean, actually, we should just take this off, shouldn't we? Before something stupid happens. But me being who I am, I don't know if that'll work. Yeah, can just do it that way. There you go. Perfect. That should fit. Now, in theory, this just slides right in. Ooh. Yeah, there's the screws. All right, I'm going to have to sand this a little bit. But just to have a kind of a rough idea. This goes on top. That's too tight a fit. Yeah, I'm going to have to sand it top and bottom. But there's your marquee. Oh. Oh. All right, so quick note about this before I get it in there and fix it up, whatever. This is obviously, many of you will recognize this, based on the Evangelion logo. Same font. I had to finagle the font of my logo. Basically, I just traced a couple of letters, made sure that I got the right style for each letter that wasn't in Evangelion. There's a name for this font, but you can't find it, or I didn't find it. I couldn't find it. At the top just says Arcade. I think this says Neon Genesis on the original logo. And this says Evangelion in Japanese, I presume. This here does not say Evangelion. It's the name of the machine, which is Polybius, however you pronounce that. As an homage to the infamous, non-existent, possibly hoax arcade cabinet that makes you go crazy. I just thought it'd be a nice name. It has nothing to do with Polybius. I just thought it was a nice name, nice little homage to the culture. And there you go. There's the marquee. Now I just gotta sand it down. I think that's good though, right? That's not cut off. I can maybe shave down the sides a little. I think that's good. Yes. I like that. Okay. Let's do that. Tap, 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 tap. A little too much bling. Guess I have to see how this looks in black. This isn't black, but like, I don't know, I feel like already that's a little better, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm gonna paint that black. All right, but it's up, it's in. That looks pretty good. Let me put this away. I don't know if I have enough of this stuff. Dusty, everything is dusty. All right. Like the other joystick, I think I'm just gonna take the plate off. This isn't gonna interfere with anything, but it will make them the same height. That's, I guess, something. Okay, buttons done. Nope, what am I talking about? I still got more buttons. Ooh, this one doesn't have a notch. Oh no! Well, how do you like that? Son of a bitch. That is so not cool. Fuck. What happened? Oh, geez. Okay, well, that scared the hell out of me. I'm good. It's all good. This goes into this little notch here. And this whole thing just gets slid. Ah, fuck. That's fine. Whatever. Also, that's a little loose. I may need to epoxy that. I was really hoping not to.